If your goal is to lose weight fast, naturally, and permanently, today I'll be sharing my top tips that help me stay in the best shape of my life for the past 15 years. The biggest myth in the fitness industry today is just managing against calories. Now, of course, calories in versus calories out makes sense scientifically, but the actual reality and the practicality of just managing against a number makes zero sense. Our bodies are so complex and are so unique to you that all you can really do is apply part of these principles and really create repeatable habits that will serve you over the long term. Something that I like to live by is this idea that if you don't see yourself doing it forever, don't do it at all. One example of this is that I've given up carbs. I don't identify with carbs, which seems a little dramatic, but if I had to exercise willpower every time I saw bread, pasta, pizza, then I wouldn't have willpower to do anything else in life. And as with anything else, energy is finite. And so if you can identify as someone who doesn't do certain things and can see yourself doing it forever, that's gonna lead to long-term success. The core principle I wanna focus on today is insulin resistance. This is just a fancy way of saying you wanna keep your body in a fat burning state. In order to do that, one of the big dieting hacks or tips that has been really popularized is this idea around intermittent fasting, which is another way of saying skip breakfast or eat dinner super early. There's a lot of factors that go into this, but if you're hungry in the morning, don't skip breakfast. But for me, it just so happens that I'm not that hungry in the morning and my mental clarity is strongest when I'm not eating. And so I actually skip breakfast and it keeps me energized throughout the day. My first meal is roughly around 12 p.m. And by doing that, there's only a certain window of time where I can actually consume calories and it helps me overall. Every time you eat, your insulin spikes. That takes you out of this fat burning state. And it's not to say that this is necessarily bad. Of course, we have to eat, but if you're eating small meals throughout the day, all your body really is doing is digesting food. So you really want to be a bit more thoughtful around how many times you're eating. Popular diets like OMAD, which is 1 meal a day, is really geared to not only tighten your eating window, but also prevent those spikes. So do whatever works for you. If that's too extreme, maybe 2 meals a day. Again, if that is too extreme, maybe 3 meals a day, to really figure out whatever it is that makes sense for you. The order for which you eat your food is also super important. Fiber is super underrated. Protein is having its time in the sun right now, but I think fiber and gut health will really start to take a lead role in health and nutrition. Fiber basically slows the digestion and absorption of foods so that when you eat, it doesn't hit your bloodstream immediately. Start with fiber, i.e. your vegetables, that will slow digestion. Then you want to go into your proteins and fats, and then your carbs, and then your sugars. Carbs and sugars spike your insulin, and contrary to what you think, and it'll make you hungrier overall. This is why restaurants serve bread. This is why you don't want to blend your juices. You want to make sure that the absorption happens slowly, and that will really help your body regulate the food that you eat much better. To close on the macros concept, the other thing that I think that people are hyper obsessed about today is your proteins. A lot of the popularity around protein is the fact that it is satiating, which is another way of saying it keeps you full. It's thermic, it burns calories to digest, and the goal that people have 1 gram per kilogram of body weight. I don't do any of that. It's just not sustainable. Don't be the annoying person that brings around a scale. Just really try to prioritize some form of protein in every meal that you eat and try to keep yourself naturally full. To me, that breeds the most long-term success, but of course, do what makes sense for you. Exercise is another topic that I feel has a lot of controversy around it, especially in terms of what's the best exercise for you. I'll break it all down. Resistance training has been really popularized because having more muscle means you're burning more calories at rest. So the more you can incorporate resistance training and zone 2 cardio, which is basically you not running and out of breath, there I think is your deadly combo. Walking is one of the best things that you can do, and the timing is super important. So walk after each meal and walk after your resistance training will give you the most outsized benefit. Walking after each meal helps you digest, keeps your blood sugar low, and after you work out, there's tons of benefits to really continue to keep you in that fat burning state. I may sound like a broken record here, but if you don't enjoy your diet, if you don't enjoy your workout, you'll eventually stop. And so really find the things that don't feel like working out, that don't feel like a diet, and continue to stick to those principles. Timing is a very underrated quality when it comes to some of these things. Walking after a meal is much more effective than just walking overall. But of course, walking period is one of the best things that you can do for your overall health. Try to prioritize that throughout. Something that I've really internalized for me is the psychology around working out. I find that I'm much more enjoying lifting weights when I don't force myself to do it every day. I think the other thing that helps me is my environment. I think that there's been a lot of perception that the value exchange of a gym membership has a lot to do with the equipment. That's completely false. You could work out at home, you could do push-ups on the ground, but if you subscribe to an environment that really helps you feel inspired and motivated, I think that really helps. I think the mental fatigue of going every day isn't really sustainable, especially for professionals that work and have other responsibilities like kids and what have you. So whether that's 2 times a week, 3 times a week, and in an environment where you really enjoy, or with an activity or sport that really feels like play, that's really the hack to long-term success. The next topic I want to discuss is all around sleep. We live in a hustle culture where it's cool to say that you work X amount of hours and didn't get sleep, and still not sure why that is. But ultimately, I do think sleep is a flex. It is the most potent performance enhancement drug. If you're tired, if you have any symptoms of any type, sleep cures all. Sleep is where you rebuild muscle. When you're in the gym, you're actually creating micro tears in your muscles, and sleep is actually where it rebuilds. So let's just try to normalize the beauty and the importance of good quality rest, which actually helps to build our bodies and reset our brain, which is quintessential, especially if this is something that you want to sustain over the long term. Working out alone doesn't get you there. The last thing I'll say about sleep is that when you are sleep deprived, you're actually more hungry. There's something called ghrelin that makes you hungrier throughout the day. So also while you're sleeping, you're fasting. So really being thoughtful and cognizant of that. The more sleep, the better. The last topic I'll cover is all around hunger management. I think this is where GLP-1s and Ozempic has become super popular. Basically are subduing your appetite. There are natural ways to do this. So for me, what I love to do in the morning is soda water and apple cider vinegar. Tastes just like kombucha. Coffee is a great appetite suppressant. These aren't necessarily as potent as GLP-1s, but I think all these little things can really help compound and ultimately manage your hunger. I think when you manage your hunger too much, eventually your willpower will break. So a couple things that I like to do is create friction. There's nothing in my apartment that I'm able to just easily indulge in. By the fridge, I have push-up bars set up where every time I open the fridge when I'm not hungry, I'll do 50 push-ups. So I think gamifying this whole process and really focusing on enjoying every aspect of a healthy lifestyle is the only way to do this. The vanity of looking good for a certain event or trying to get in the best shape of your life like that, the best workout. Sure, you may have the willpower to endure a week, a month, maybe even a year, but eventually, like anything else, you will get tired of it, and when you get tired of it, you will stop. And so that's not just the health and wellness principle, it's a life optimization principle of just don't do things that don't serve you. And the more you can make things easy, the better off you'll be. So I hope you're able to adopt one or a few of these hacks that should only be applied if, again, you can see yourself doing this over the long term. I've been in this game so long where I go through different states of mental fatigue to motivation, but considering that the principles of all the things that I do are things that I would look forward to and want to do anyway, it really helps to keep this sustainable over the long term. So that's all I have for you today. Hope you enjoy, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.